Thank you for joining us on KBC Channel 1. This is the station that gives you the most comprehensive news coverage in Kenya and, of course, in East Africa. My name is Kasavuli. On the news later today, we have Topi Liambila with sports, and, of course, our sign language interpreter is Byron Aburi. So, welcome. First, let's look at the highlights.
Safi. Wakenya nasema Raila Odinga tosha mara ya tatu.
Third time lucky. Raila Odinga gets Kalonzo's endorsement for presidency. Back to the drawing board. Government lifts crackdown against border. And unbowed. We take you through the journey of a mother caring for sons with cerebral palsy. Thank you for joining us. Wiper Democratic Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has today endorsed ODM leader Raila Odinga's presidential candidature under the Azimio la Umoja banner. Kalonzo's Wiper Democratic movement was among over 20 political parties which signed a pact with the Azimio movement backing Raila's bid for the presidency. The occasion was graced by President Uhuru Kenyatta.
On Saturday, over 300 delegates under the Azimio la Umoja umbrella convened at the Kenyatta International Convention Center for a joint national delegates convention. It is here that over 20 political parties, including Wiper Democratic Movement, led by Kalonzo Musyoka, endorsed Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga as the coalition presidential flag bearer.
I accept the nomination by Azimio la Umoja to vie for the President of the Republic of Kenya.
President Uhuru Kenyatta hailing the different political party leaders for putting their differences aside for a common agenda, saying Raila is the best bet for the country.
Wameamua ya kwamba njia ya kutembea kwa Kenya mpya ni tutembee pamoja. Leo imekuwa siku ya kuanzisha safari ambayo itatimika mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu.
Raila promised to deliver on his promise to the electorate if he emerges victorious.
I will strive to eradicate this feeling among majority of Kenyans that however hard they work, nothing seems to change in their lives. I pledge to create a standalone ministry for youth affairs and mainstream appointment of the youth in the Azimio government, in addition to tax holiday for the youth enterprises.
The Azimio Brigade afterwards attended a rally at Jacaranda Grounds in Nairobi, where once again former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka reiterated his support for Raila's presidential bid.
Mimi nilikuwa nikidhani Raila atasema safari hii Kalonzo tosha. Lakini sikiza, kwa roho safi, Wakenya nasema Raila Odinga tosha mara ya tatu.
Sio ya kwamba hangeweza, anaweza, lakini akasema hatakuwa moja ya kugawanya Wakenya, anataka tutembee pamoja.
Nimehakikishia kwamba mimi sitawaangusha chini. Hii kijiti mtabeba kwa ushujaa, nitakimbia naye na nitaleta ushindi nyumbani.
Azimio la Umoja brings together parties such as Jubilee, ODM, Wiper, KANU, DAP Kenya, KUP, PA, among others. Nancy Okware, Legends Edition.
Deputy President Dr. William Ruto has been cleared by the United Democratic Alliance Election Board to be the party's presidential candidate. The UDA Election Board will present the DP's name to the Nairobi Delegates Convention next Tuesday for endorsement. Two other presidential hopefuls, Tracy Wanjiru and Orina Jefania, failed to meet the requirements.
Deputy President William Ruto now has the green light to seek the presidency as United Democratic Alliance flag bearer.
I have pleaded with them to consider me favorably, but I guess it will have to be an objective assessment of all the candidates that will present themselves.
According to United Democratic Alliance Deputy Chair Kipruto Arap Kirwa, Ruto was the only candidate who met the eligibility criteria, thus getting the thumbs up to proceed to the next level.
The first one to be interviewed was William Samoei Ruto, and the verdict was that he's one of the candidates that we shall present to Kasarani on Tuesday, the 15th of this month, for the NDC to make the necessary resolution.
Kirwa noting the other two candidates, Tracy Wanjiru and Orina Jefania, did not qualify after they failed to meet some of the requirements.
He will not be able to proceed beyond today in terms of his presidential ambition in this particular party because he was not able to raise the requisite fee of 1 million shillings.
Wanjiru, a third-year student at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and Orina, a holder of 3 degrees, thanked UDA for allowing them to contest for the party ticket.
That we give an opportunity to the Mama Mboga, the Boda people in the villages. And that's why I'm here, a son of nobody, who wants to become the president of the Republic of Kenya.
Women, youth, and persons in minority groups have the opportunity to step up because we have a lot to offer. We're not just there for to take inclusivity boxes or to, please the constitutional 2/3 gender rule. We have ideas, we have talent that can actually take this country forward.
For the Legends edition, I'm Zainab Said.
Deputy President Dr. William Ruto is calling on investigative agencies to deal decisively with those behind the theft of public resources. Ruto, who led the Kenya Kwanza team in campaigns in Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties, said the crackdown targeting border operators since withdrawn was hurting those in the informal sector. He said the government should instead focus on apprehending those who plunder public coffers.
After a 10-day tour of the United States and United Kingdom, Deputy President Dr. William Ruto, accompanied by his Kenya Kwanza team, were back to the vote-hunting mission in the country. And with Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya and Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi having closed ranks with Azimio la Umoja, the Deputy President took his campaigns to their doorsteps, holding rallies in Tigania and Dementi.
Munasema aje? Aende nyumbani. Aende nyumbani.
Tumekuja hapa siku ya leo ili Wakenya wote wajue ya kwamba sisi wa Meru tumeamua na tumejipanga, na pale tunaelekea kwa kiti cha urais ni William Samoei Ruto. Kweli ama kweli?
Sisi wa Meru tuko na akili na sisi tutaenda kwa William Ruto.
Although the government has since halted the nationwide crackdown against border operators, Dr. Ruto took issue with the exercise.
Border industry produces 1 billion shillings every day. You cannot in your rightful mind say the border industry is a criminal industry. It is not, and we will not accept, because it feeds many families in the Republic of Kenya.
The Kenya Kwanza Alliance called on area residents to reject the candidature of Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga, who has since been endorsed as the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate.
Hiyo vitisho yenu na hiyo pesa yenu ati mnataka kununua watu wetu, mtaambulia patupu, kwa sababu Wakenya wamechanuka na wanajua wanachotafuta.
When somebody is retiring and somebody has finished his job, how can he guarantee you a job in somebody else's government? Inawezekana kweli? Inawezekana?
While in Tharaka-Nithi, the Deputy President launched the new Chuka County Referral Hospital.
Kuomba kwamba ukikalia kiti mwezi wa 8, hii hospitali tumekuomba uifanye ikuwe level 5.
John Jacob Kuria, The Legends Edition.
Democratic Party presidential aspirant and Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, says if elected president, his government will prioritize fighting corruption and ensuring equity in service delivery for all Kenyans. Speaking in Murang'a during the launch of the gubernatorial bid for the former Water and Irrigation PS, Joseph Wairagu, Muturi decried poor health services in government hospitals due to what he said was theft of drugs and money allocated to the health sector.
Mambo ya kukosa madawa mmesema hapa kwa hospitali, mazahanati, dispensary, ni kwa sababu ya ufisadi tu, hakuna kitu kingine. Wale wafanyikazi wa serikali, na nimefurahia vile gavana Wairagu amesema, ni lazima tujiulize kwa nini tuna train health workers hapa Kenya alafu nasikia wanaenda ng'ambo. Kwa hivyo itakiwi kuwa ati kuna wengine ambao ati wakiwa wagonjwa hao wanatafutiwa matibabu ng'ambo. Na wewe ukiwa wewe si Mkenya, wewe pia unalipa kodi kama vile mimi nalipa. Tusiambiwe kwamba chama chetu ati ni cha ukabila. Hapana ukabila. Chama hiki kina watu kutoka pembe zote za nchi, lakini tunaenda tukiuza sera zetu sehemu zote za nchi. Na ndio nimesema kwa sasa watu wakubali kwamba sisi tuko katika kinyang'anyiro na tutang'ang'ana kwa sababu muhimu sana ni sera zetu.
Asanteni sana.
The government has suspended the countrywide border crackdown to give room for consultations. The crackdown has been in effect for the last 5 days following a directive by President Uhuru Kenyatta. This came after an incident in which a female motorist was assaulted by border operators along Professor Wangari Maathai Road in Nairobi. The National Police, however, say the ban remains in force in Nairobi's central business district.
This was the scenario Saturday afternoon at Nairobi's Central Business District. Immediately, the countrywide crackdown on borders was stopped. In a statement, the National Police Service said it has temporarily halted the crackdown to allow various stakeholders in the industry to consult and develop a suitable implementation framework. However, the suspension on borders operating within the Nairobi CBD will remain strictly in force. So far, 16 people have been charged in court following public outcry after a middle-aged woman was molested along Professor Wangari Maathai Road by border operators. The nationwide crackdown has seen the arrest of hundreds of border operators.
25-year-old Margaret Wanjiru has not known any bliss in motherhood. Her son Ian Jeroge, born 7 years ago, was born like any other child, but at 6 months.
We apologize for that technical hiccup. But we move on to our next story, which is navigating parenthood is not easy. It often comes with its fair share of challenges. Parents taking care of children living with disability have an even bigger challenge. 25-year-old Margaret Wanjiru from Kinamba village in Naivasha sub-county is a mother of 2 boys, both suffering from cerebral palsy. Deserted by her husband and left to fend for the boys alone, her life has been nothing but short of challenges. Beatrice Gatonye shares her story.
25-year-old Margaret Wanjiru has not known any bliss in motherhood. Her son Ian Njoroge, born 7 years ago, was born like any other child, but at 6 months, his parents noticed something was not right.
Mmoja wa kwanza ajiwezi atembeangi, wa pili niko na yeye, watatu ni mapacha, mmoja atembe asimamishi miguu.
At the age of 2 years, Njoroge could not speak, despite tests at the Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital that ruled out any medical issues. In 2020, Wanjiru was blessed with another child, a boy, but just like his elder brother, he too had a problem. He too could not walk or sit, and her mother thought he was developing rickets.
Ningeomba wasaidizi wanisaidie at least nipate kitu ya kuwa juu ninafanya kazi ya kusuguza mero ili tupate kitu ya kukula. Siku zingine kunanyesha, ninakosha. Sasa sijui, ningeomba tu munisaidie. Ningependa munisaidie hao watoto wapelekwe therapy. Kama huyo mdogo asikue kama huyo mkubwa, at least wapelekwe therapy juu sina usaidizi wowote. Na nyumba ni kulipa, niko na miezi kama 5 sijalipa.
Her husband of 9 years left her soon after to take care of the 2 children alone. It would be confirmed that her boys were suffering from cerebral palsy.
Nilienda kuambia baba yao waisaidie, akaniambia yeye awesaidia watoto wamekojeka. Akakuja akaanza kunifuruga akiniambia atanichapa. Hata alikuwa anataka kubeba hii kiti nimekaria. Akasema yeye hataki watoto.
Divya Shah, the chair of Davi Shah Foundation, is urging more donors to come on board and help Wanjiru and other patients who cannot pay for the basic care for children living with such condition.
Iko na toto 4, angine iko twins. Hata angine twins iko napata same shida naanza. So I say people please come and help. Hii mama iko really needy.
Na tumeona situation yake vile iko ni mbaya. Ako na watoto 4, wawili hawako visawa vizuri. Na tunaomba watu wa hisani nzuri na hisani njema na watu wa utu wa Kenya wote tuweze kusaidia Margaret kwa sababu ako na desperate situation.
Cerebral palsy is caused by abnormal development of the brain or damage to the developing brain that affects a child's ability to control his or her muscles. Beatrice Gatonyengetich, Legends Edition.
A very moving story. And we take a break, and when we come back, we will be hosting Avtar Sings Sohal, an award winner. Don't go away.
Ili kupata skiza tune ya Sitoki Jikoni kwenye simu yako, ili kupata skiza tune ya Sitoki Jikoni kwenye simu yako, dial *811 816 hash.
We, umeingiaje kwa hii jikoni?
Wewe achana bwana, wewe ujui tulitokea wapi? Acha hata wewe naye toka hapa.
Wacha upuzi yako hiyo. Toka nje bwana.
Hii jikoni niko hapa ndani. Na nitakaa hapa and make decision.
Wacha maneno yako bwana, toka nje bwana. Wewe unajua tulijenga hapa watu wawili hii jikoni.
Wewe kwa wakati nilikuwa naandikishana contract ya kufanya kazi kwa hii jikoni.
Wewe toka bwana, wacha.
Kupata skiza tune hiyo ya Sitoki Jikoni, dial *811 816 hash.
Do you have a new story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Normally when infants cry, they're crying because of distress. But in this scenario, they are moving, but they're making no noise. Remember, there's a certain stage infants reach where they're curious and they put everything inside their mouth. Huh? So if you see them having that kind of actions, you suspect they're choking. Face down. Face down. Okay. And you hit just between the shoulders 5 times. Now, the strength of which you use to hit is dependent on the age and the size of the baby. The rule is the bigger the baby, the harder the hit. So you hit it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
As I told you a little earlier on, we're going to feature a living legend extraordinaire. On the Legends edition tonight, we'll listen to a man who has been to 6 Olympic Games, 4 consecutive ones as a player and to 2 in administrative roles. He has been honored by the International Hockey Federation and received the Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya. Today, he is working with the youth to keep Kenya's hockey alive. On the Living Legends tonight, we have Kenya's hockey great Avtar Singh Sohal.
Good day to you. I am Daniel Wahome and welcome to the Living Legends. In today's edition, we speak to a 6-time Olympian. He was a player in 4, a coach in 1, and a judge in his 6th outing. Our guest also played hockey at the 1971 Hockey World Cup and captained Kenya to 4th after they lost 2-1 after extra time to India. 167 times he played for Kenya in his time. He has been honored by the International Hockey Federation and holds an OGW for his services to the sport. Our guest tonight is Kenyan hockey great, Avtar Singh Sohal. It's a pleasure to speak to you, Mr. Sohal. Thank you very much. All right. Yeah. And, basically just looking at all the jackets that we have here from your times, you'll be telling us about that in a short while. But with every other guest, just tell us about your early life, when you were born, where you grew up, and how you got into hockey.
Well, what I came to know that my parents came to Kenya from Punjab, India, in 1930s. He was with the Royal Air Force. And I was there with him since 1938. I was born in 1938. So my parents, I think 1930, I'm not exactly sure what year it was, but it was in 1930s. And I grew up here. And that time the schooling was the 1st standard to 7th standard. You cannot join the school, primary school, when you are not of age of 7. So there was no nursery schools for us. So I joined primary school when I was 7 years old. So I studied in primary school, city primary school, for 7 years. Then I moved to Duke of Gloucester, which is Jamhuri High School now. During my school days, I was quite active. In fact, I was very keen hockey and cricket. And this game of hockey I got in was when I was about 10 years old, when the first Indian team, hockey team came here, 1947-48. I was taken by my father to the game, and I was thrilled to see people like Dhyan Chand, Manna Singh with their hockey artwork. It was fantastic, and it inspired me to do some of those tricks at home. And that was the time when I actually started hockey in my primary school and primary days.
At that point in time, it was also, I think, the very first time that Kenya got to an Olympic Games, and they took a hockey team to the Melbourne Games of 1956. What were the conversations that you had with players from the Sikh Union Club who represented the country then? I think they had about, over a dozen players in the national team.
I think they had about 6 to 8 players, went to 56 Olympics. When I came into the team, I was a shy person because they were quite matured and senior to me. But they treated me so well, and they encouraged me to learn the game so fast. I was very, very grateful to them. I think I had a good group of people, senior members, who eventually taught me good hockey. And one time, I remember that I was captain of the Kenya team, and this senior member were under me. Can you imagine? So what I would like to say, that they really gave me a lot of encouragement, motivation, and they taught me a lot of things, and that's how I became a good player for Sikh Union Club.
Let's talk about the 1960 Olympic Games in Tokyo, and these were your first of 6 Olympic Games that you went to, and you played against Germany. Kenya won. Played against Italy, hammered them properly. I think you scored 2 goals in that. Drew with France, and you could tell us about these 3 games before I talk about the quarterfinal against Great Britain.
It was tough against Germany, but we managed to beat them. Then we beat Italy by 7-0, I think.
Yes.
And then I scored a goal against Italy, and I think I scored a goal against I won't remember, but I was disappointed at one point when I scored and my goal was disallowed. That was against Great Britain. Yeah. That thing would have made a lot of difference, because if we won that game, we would have been in the semi-final. It was a tough going for first time. When I was very young that time, to play against top teams like Germany, Australia, other teams. But I got a lot of experience, and most important thing for me was my seniors, who were very, very good to me when I was playing, and especially Man Singh, the coach, who took a lot of interest in my coming up. And he coached me so well that a time came that I didn't feel any sort of fear to play the top international sides from outside Kenya.
Okay. Playing against Great Britain in 1960, that was playing against the colonial, what we would call the colonial masters then. What was it like at the quarterfinal stage?
It was right. So that was more of politically, if you see, it was UK, Britain against Britain, yeah, because we were under British that time. But for me, it was Kenya. We are playing for Kenya, not for Britain that time. So it was for us to beat any team we play. So I think I was playing for Kenya, not for Britain that time, although we were under British flag. But it was a great honor for me to play that game and do well against Great Britain in that game.
He won the African Championship in Zambia at that time, but he went to the first International Hockey Federation World Cup, and Kenya were in that competition. They made it, to the semi-finals. They lost, and in the third place playoff, they lost by 2-1 to India and this was after extra time. Tell us about the 71 World Cup.
We won and we lost to India. Then we had to play in Germany. And Germany was very confident that they'll beat us. And in fact, when we were sharing the dining hall, they were sitting next to us or next to our table, and they were sort of booing us that they are going to pump us tomorrow. So I took the boys after the dinner. We said, do or die, we have to beat them. The following days, we went all out and we beat them. Now when the score and the points came, then we had to play Germany again. So when we were having dinner that night, we requested our doctor, because they booed us sort of thing the previous night, cheering with their wines. So I asked my coach that we will have 1 glass of wine each. Yeah. So we also cheered and we booed in such a way that we are going also to beat you tomorrow. So they were quiet like nobody's business. And then now when we had the game with Germany, we beat them again 2-0. We check the record, 2-0. And I feel so proud that these goals, 2 goals were scored by me. So that was a big thing for me in life, that I brought Kenya into semi-final. So we played against semi-final, we played against Spain. We went in extra time. And just few seconds before extra time, we had a penalty corner against us. Which was a mistake of one of our players, so they scored. So if we had to go to extra time, or after penalty strokes, after the extra time, we might have beaten them. So now we lost to them 1-0, so we had to play 3rd and 4th position. So then we went and played India. Can you imagine, we were leading 1-0 all the way, and they scored at the last minute. Then we went to extra time, and my player Parjinder, he had a ball, goalkeeper alone, 5 yards meter. He pushed the ball, it just slided off the post. So we missed. And then eventually after our extra time, they scored. So we finished number 4.
How much hockey activity then did we have in the country at that point for us to, for Kenya to be a top 8 nation, not in Africa, but in the world?
Well, let me tell you, Mr. Wome, we never lost to anybody in Africa because we were top team. We trained very hard. We beat them because we had more games, international games, with other countries to improve our standard. We were strong in Africa, and that's how we qualified for the Olympics. Hockey was, let me tell you how hockey was played. There was a lot of hockey in schools, lot of hockey. When I came into 6 Union Club, I was playing tournaments in school. There was a lot of hockey in school.
Well, you have been honored by the International Hockey Federation, and they gave you a Diploma of Merit. Tell us about this award that you received in 2000.
Yeah. Well, when I came into International Hockey Federation, the coaching committee in 87, I did some coaching courses for them, Olympic Solidarity, Olympic courses in Ghana, Seychelles, Uganda, Malawi. So I was helping International Hockey Federation on doing these courses. And then they picked me up also on judging technical side. So I was assistant technical delegate, judge for different tournament in all over the world. So when you do some work for International Hockey Federation, they make sure that you awarded something. So I was with them for nearly 19 years, and I did 1994, if you see, World Cup as a judge. So then in another tournament, big tournaments, I was technical delegate, judge, and I think when you do some work for International Hockey Federation, they always honor you.
All right. The International Hockey Federation awarded you with the Diploma of Merit, and this was in the year 2000. Tell us the story about this award.
It was not me who pushed for these awards. I think I got them the way the editors and people from the different papers wrote about me. So I got HCS, but I thought whatever I get is good enough. But there was some people who thought that HCS is not good enough for me because I've done better than for receiving that order. So they pushed my case that I should get better than what I have. So recently I was given OGW.
As a closing shot, what is the message that you pass to those who want to get into the sport at this point, or who are at the learning stage of hockey in their life?
Well, first message is that we organize ourselves. The main body should organize. And it's very important that we start hockey in primary schools. The basic hockey must be started in primary school. Potential is there, players are there. We have to organize ourselves. We are not organized enough. The clubs are not organized. Kenya Hockey Union, Novi Hockey, all the associations, they have to work very, very hard. And I still have a feeling we can do very well in sports. We can do very well in sports. But the only answer is, if you don't work hard, there's nothing possible. So my advice to everybody is, you have to be very, very fit, to play these sports. And let's play, do hard work, and bring Kenya back where they were in hockey, international level.
Thank you very much, Mr. Avtar Singh Sohal, for giving us your time on the Living Legends. He has been awarded the International Hockey Federation's Diploma of Merit for distinguished services to the sport, and this was by the then president of the world governing body, Kwanza. That was in 2000. He has been awarded an OGW by the Republic of Kenya. He has been to 6 Olympic Games and is still coaching young players today. It has been a pleasure speaking to Kenyan hockey great Avtar Singh Sohal on The Living Legends. My name is Daniel Wahome. Thank you for being with us.
Welcome back. A senior police officer was shot dead while 3 of his colleagues were injured in an ambush by heavily armed bandits in Machongoi, Baringo County. The officer was killed as he led his juniors in a patrol in the area at about 6 p.m. on Friday. The 3 injured officers are receiving treatment. Police said the bandits made away with the senior officer's G3 rifle with 60 rounds of ammunition, body, armor, and uniforms. Meanwhile, a somber mood engulfed Machongoi as 6 victims of banditry attacks were laid to rest today. The 6 were killed separately in Baringo South constituency by armed raiders.
A somber mood engulfed Kabel Township, Baringo County during the burial of 7 victims of the recent banditry attacks that shook the county. Family, friends, relatives and local leaders coming together to bid farewell to their loved ones who met their untimely deaths at the hand of suspected gun-wielding bandits. The leaders present condemning the killings even as they called on the government to set aside a special kitty to cushion the affected families of the deceased who have been left homeless and with little to fend for themselves.
Waweke pesa ile emergency ya kulisha wale watoto ama wale watu ambao wamehadharika katika janga hili.
The leaders further adding that the bandits should be treated as a militia group and necessary action be applied to bring the culprits to book. Following the recent attacks, Rift Valley Regional Commissioner Mohammed Maalim toured the area and issued a shoot-to-kill order on armed bandits and also deployed 80 National Police Reservists in a bid to find solution to unending banditry attacks.
RC amekuwa hapa, County Commissioner amekuwa hapa, lakini umesikia tena wameua inspector yako ya police. So these are not ordinary criminals, Mr. President.
Tuongeze vijana wa KPR ili tuwasidishe ulinzi wa watu wa Machongoi na pia Baringo North.
The bodies were later buried at a different location in Mshugoni area away from their homes in Kasiela and Sinoni, which remains volatile and deserted. Yusufar reporting for the Legends edition.
As good evening once again, as a big welcome to the sports roundup on this Legends edition this Saturday evening. And as usual, we have got quite a bumper harvest for you this evening. So just stay tuned and belt up. I hope that you did enjoy the interview of Avtar Singh Sohal, a living legend, a gentleman to boot, and who has shown the way to go in world sports. Well, now Kabras Sugar and the new Kenya Cup champions after humbling Menengai Oilers 34-28 in the final played at the Bull Ring in Kakamega. It was the second Kenya Cup title for Kabras Sugar after the maiden title in 2016.
We have to make this possession turn into points, a searching run from Dukisa.
Kabras Sugar came from behind to register the victory after trailing 8-18 in the first half. Menengai Oilers were playing in their first final made several enforced errors that Kabras maximized on to pull a surprise 34-28 win.
Rides past one tackle, has a man in support, a second Travis Nyaundi, 18-3. Ladies and gentlemen,
it's difficult to make someone believe, right? if you're down by a couple of points. But that's what I always say, that just believe in the systems. Believe in the systems, how we played all season, and that's what I did.
I'm very proud of them. I think it's been one of those campaigns that we've worked extremely hard. We've come short, but for me, I think I'm very proud of the boys. I just pick the lessons and try and replicate them next season. Yeah, it's one of those reasons. We need to be disappointed, but yeah, at the same time, I'm happy.
And it is the underdogs leading.
Kabras Sugar and Menengai Oilers advanced to the final after seeing off Strathmore Leos and defending champions KCB in the last 4 respectively.
Teddy Akala goes over the whitewash.
Kabras Sugar trounced Strathmore Leos 29-9 in Kakamega, while Menengai Oilers humbled KCB 24-17 in Nairobi to reach their first ever Kenya Cup final.
Kenyan Premier League defending champions Tusker FC humbled Kariobangi Sharks 1-0 in a closely contested Kenyan Premier League match played at the Ruaraka grounds in Nairobi. Elsewhere, KCB trounced Wazito FC 2-0 at the Kasarani Stadium. Some of the action.
Tusker FC hitman Ibrahim Joshua scored the lone goal for the Brewers in the 30th minute to bag maximum points for the Ruaraka base side. In another match, KCB trounced Wazito FC 2-0 at Kasarani Stadium.
Because we have been looking for those 3 points and we managed to get them. Playing, we need to maintain consistency and we have to move on and on and on and on. This marathon.
Kakamega Homeboys are still perched at the top of the log with 46 points. Tusker FC, KCB, Nairobi City Stars and Gor Mahia complete the top 5 teams on the log. Nzoia, Vihiga Bullets and Mathare United are the bottom place teams on the log.
Junior swimmers from different counties Saturday converged at the Kasarani Stadium to take part in the county meet aimed at selecting a team that will take part in the Kana Championships. Matimu Nathan took an early lead on day 1 and will be eyeing to secure a win that will see him book a slot in the final squad. Some of them.
Speaking at the event, Nairobi County Secretary General Ken Karani praised the swimmers, teachers and parents for ensuring that the event was a success.
We have counties coming up with programs in terms of initiating swimmers into levels like level 1, level 2, level 3. They also have the minnows, and that at that point there was a need for...
In addition, Karani also appealed to schools from different counties to come forward and introduce swimming championship in their schools, as it is one of the ways to nurture talents that will help them in future.
Most of the counties we have what we call short course pools, which is 25 meters. But the swimmers train and look forward to qualifying for from the county level to national, then to international level.
The competition saw more than 500 young swimmers participate, with the winners eyeing for a slot to the Kana events.
It was a pretty good race. 1500 was good. I started off with 1500. This is my first 1500 of the year, so it's been pretty good.
The first of the challenges that we have come back from a pandemic, which is hard for us competitive swimmers to get back to the track, where we started. But we've really worked hard to get where we've reached right now.
The meet will also help select a team to represent Kenya in this year's Commonwealth Games.
Experience a new history and setting of new records in Stark Arena from the 18th to 20th of March 2022 at the World Athletics Indoor Championships.
Pretty tight out of the blocks, and Coleman now moving away. Christian Coleman challenged late there by Bromell.
More than 1,000 of the world's best athletes will compete for 96 medals across 24 finals during the 3 days of competition in Belgrade, Serbia. Kenya has a formidable team of 10 athletes, amongst them Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omanyala. It is going to be a blast, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
National boxing team Hate Squad has stepped up training ahead of the Zone 3 Boxing Championships set to be held from April the 3rd to the 10th in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Was given the nod to host the regional championships after Tanzania withdrew, citing financial and logistical reasons.
Kenyan boxers will be aiming to replicate the same performance that saw them bag 1 gold, 5 silver, and 5 bronze at the regional showpiece last year. 23 Kenyan boxers, 13 men and 10 women will line up, all eyeing the regional title.
Leo tutakuwa tunamalizia wiki ya pili ambayo tumekuwa tukifanya ile tunaita general preparation. Sasa kuanzia wiki ijayo tutakuwa na ile tunaita preparation, mazoezi ambayo itakuwa tunaangazia sana technical na tactical aspects ya mchezo.
Stephen Olang will be making his debut in light middleweight, Isaac Major featherweight, Anne Wanjiru flyweight, Amina Martha Batam weight, and Alice Oyego featherweight.
Nacheza bantamweight, which is 54 kgs. Na I feel honored kuwa kwa national team, hata kwa training session ya national team. It's a huge step. Na nimepata zoezi huku iko like 2 levels above ile yenye nimekuwa nikifanya.
Almost everything was friendly, although bado tujarudi kwa ile platform yenye si huwa prepare for hii zone 3. Last nilikam na silver. Leo silver nilikuja nayo juu ya eye injury, but this time na win gold kwa sababu bronze ninazo 3, silver nina 1.
His squad will use the Zone 3 Boxing Championship to prepare for the Women World Championship slated for May in Turkey. After the World Championship in Turkey, focus will shift to the Commonwealth Games set to be held from July 28th to 8th August in Birmingham, England.
Women from different sports federations on Saturday gathered at the Strathmore University grounds to celebrate Women's Sports Day. President of the Kenya Netball Federation, Immaculate Kavutha, called on federations to scout players from grassroots levels so as to improve the standards of sports in the country. Here's a listen.
It was a long-awaited day with sportswomen from different sporting federations in the country showing up to celebrate the day while participating in various sports. Volleyball, hockey, netball and tennis are some of the sports that participants took part in. One of the women in attendance was President of Kenya Netball Federation, Immaculate Kavutha, who called on federations to scout local players so as to improve the standards of sports in the country.
Today marks a very important day for us because we are trying to mentor our girls to realize that nowadays we have gender equity, we have high profile people, ladies who are in very strong leadership positions.
NOC celebrated the day by celebrating and reflecting on the milestones in creating enabling environment for women and equal opportunity for women to participate in sports.
Her remarks were echoed by NOC Secretary General Francis Motuko, who promised that they will do everything possible to ensure that they motivate women to participate in various sports.
We have several programs. One of the things that we've been doing, first we did administrator's course. Administrator's course was just to reach out to the women in different federations to give them an opportunity to get training so that they can start aspiring and occupying the administrative positions.
Daniel Mwendwa for Legends Edition Sports.
Reigning Kenya champions and Nairobi Water women's handball team humbled Nanyuki 37-17 as the National Handball Super kicked off on Saturday at the Nyayo National Stadium. In another closely contested match, NCPB trounced KDF 26-22. The event signaled the start of the new season. The women's category has national and regional champions Nairobi Water, KDF, Nanyuki, and Cereals. In the men's category, Group A has national men's champions Cereals, KDF, and Black Mamba, while Group B has Strathmore University, GSU, and Kenyatta University. Some of the actions. On the international scene, Jurgen Klopp men continued their fine form after registering a 2-0 win over Brighton. Goals from Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah secured the 3 points for Liverpool at the Amex Stadium. In the international scene, still at the Stamford Bridge, they see trouble as Chelsea's credit card facilities have been temporarily suspended while banks assess the implications of sanctions imposed on Russian billionaire owner Roman Abramovich. The club has been given a special license to operate despite Abramovich having his assets frozen by the UK government. In discussions with the government, on Thursday and Friday, Chelsea made applications to change the terms of the license, which would allow the club to receive money from ticket sales and also boost its limits on spending. The current license allows £500,000 to be spent on home matches and allows £20,000 limit on away travel. And that's all we have for you on these sports roundup from the Saturday's edition of the Legends edition. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back again next Saturday. But during the week, stay tuned for more of the sports action, more comprehensive reports on KBC Channel 1. I'm Topi Liambila, winding up and giving it back to Catherine to wrap up the show.
Thank you, Toby. Thank you. That was a wonderful sporting bulletin. And of course, with Mr. Avtar OGW, the hockey legend, on our show tonight. Thank you so very much for being with us. Of course, you know, this is the news channel that gives you the most comprehensive news in Kenya and across the world. I am Catherine Kasavuli. Our sign language interpreter has been Byron Abuli. And on behalf of everyone else who's made this show possible, we say thank you so very much for watching the Legends edition. Have a good night and a blessed weekend.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
We're differently abled, differently.
We are very privileged to announce that the next cohort of Innovate Now, which is the accelerator program, is officially launched and we are receiving applications.
Many people lose sight, they somehow give up in life, so we take them through an intensive program of guidance and counseling.
Me losing sight, it came as a result of the impact I had. So it resulted to something we call a retina detachment.
We're differently abled, differently.
Mundos divididos por una sombra de traición.
Did you come up with that ridiculous lie, huh? Tell me the truth! I demand that you tell me you killed Eduardo Molinaire's daughter by mistake without even getting hold of Vallarino!
There's been an accident and she died.
What? What?
You made a fool of me and you abused my friendship.
I swear I didn't know what Rogelio was going to do.
Lying heart. Fue sembrando el veneno y la ambición entre dos. I'm made strong by your strength and I'm weak when you're not here. I lay awake in the night and I cry away my tears. You